Hi, this is Pat McDonald, your host for Vote for Vermont, where our tagline is listening beyond the soundbites. And joining me in studio today is Lawrence, I love Lawrence, very fancy, Lawrence Seiler, who goes by Larry. He is an advocate for the disabled here in Vermont and a journalist for many, many years. Welcome to the show. We've been working on this a while.
Yes, we have.
Larry has several. We're going to talk about all of his shows that he does here at Orca, and we pass each other in the hallway and meetings and such, and so we decided it's now or never. So here he is. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Pat, for having me on Vote for Vermont. Fire away.
There you go. Well, I think you should share with us a little bit of your background and how your advocacy started and that you're so passionate about.
Well, I saw disparities in the system many, many years ago. So I was a college student at Lehman College in the Bronx. Bronx born and bred, Yankee fan.
Yay!
Don't get mad at me for that. And a gentleman came to me and said, so I hear that you want to be a newsman. And, you know, I've actually, the person that trained me, J.J. Gonzalez from Channel 2 News.
Oh.
Yeah, he was one of my professors in New York. He said, here's a camera, here's a microphone, baptism by fire.
There you go.
And at that time, you know, as an intern, getting no pay, you know the deal.
I know.
Mm-hmm. You'd be lucky if you get a slice of pizza. So working 16, 17 hours to try to edit and do stories and things. And then he said, here's a camera, here's a microphone and tripod. And at that time, BronxNet, BronxNet's as you know, Orca Media is public access.
Right.
But BronxNet in the Bronx is still, they're expanding, as a matter of fact. Huh. They're a public access television station.
Ah.
And channel 67 through 70, and also on the internet. And the thing is, they had a news program, News 67, and it was a half-an-hour news program. And I was, at that time, I was a reporter, but I was in charge of stories about people with disabilities.
Ah.
So I covered everything from budget to budget shortfalls, to hospital closings, to landlords throwing people out, those
Wonderful.
kinds of stories.
Yeah.
But I also focused on abilities of people. So judges, I've even interviewed Lou Ferrigno from Channel 2 News.
Really?
Lou Ferrigno from Incredible Hulk.
Right.
Yeah. Big guy.
Yep.
I interviewed Mike Tyson. I've interviewed several people. Mike Tyson, I had to go up on a chair.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, my gosh. I've never seen him in person.
Larry Bird, I had to go up on a chair. I interviewed Thurman Munson's wife, who at that time, you know Thurman Munson, baseball player.
Yep.
They had a foundation for people with autism. So my stories ran the gamut of kind of good news, bad news, and in playground openings, all kinds of stuff. And then, because of budget, at that time the news department closed, and then I stayed on and I did I produced a show called Special People, Special Issues. At that time I was getting paid.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Special People, Special
Issues.
Oh, Special Issues.
So
Excellent.
Ableton on Air is an extension of that because I kind of changed the name And so I'm doing here at Orca, I'm doing Able to On Air. I'm doing Able to Cook, which is a, a cooking show, and then some. We do webinars. I've partnered with the Brain Injury Alliance of Vermont, and I'm doing cooking webinars. I'm also doing a sports show called Gridiron Sports Talk,
Right.
where I talk about special needs sports. Um, and now I started doing a I started I started doing a documentary series called Behind the Lens.
Right.
So I got permission from New York. One of the latest ones I just did. I got permission from New York Bellevue Hospital, and I showed pieces of their documentary that they did.
Oh.
And this is going way back. So let me explain about the advocacy of
Sure.
New York. New York City back in 1970s was in turmoil. If you remember Willowbrook State School
Yes.
with Geraldo Rivera,
Right.
Vermont had Brandon State School, which was not which was not great either. It was a little bit better, but it wasn't great either.
I was working for the state then and helped close that facility down.
Yeah.
It was really sad.
But so disparities in the system. I can say a little bit of this. My mom was at that time. I was 24 years old. My mother wasn't well, so I had to find my own apartment. I had gotten the help from a social worker friend of mine who really couldn't help me because I really didn't fit into the system to get assistance. Okay, very independent, and so I ended up going into a facility. It wasn't really a group home. It was more like a respite.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, this is a temporary apartment situation. I saw disparities there.
Right.
And then through people that were getting services there, I saw some things I didn't like. So I just started writing. Okay?
Right.
Writing ideas for stories, writing ideas for bringing them to my news director, who was JJ, and he said, run with it.
Great.
Go undercover
Right.
in your own way and do the show. You know, don't tell anybody
Right.
you're doing stuff. Had a camera, just blocked out. You know how news does it. They block
right.
out stuff. And those stories turned into the TV show, and then we have
What TV show?
Special People, Special Issues.
Oh, I have to look
did,
that up.
I interviewed people, I
Yep.
interviewed social
Great.
workers, I interviewed doctors.
Nice.
And then we began, then left the Bronx. I was doing Special People, Special Issues for years at Bronx. From 98 to 2015. And then came here to Vermont, and the rest is history.
What brought you to Vermont? Did you know anybody here, or?
Better housing. Yes, I had friends here that were pointing me in the right direction.
Nice.
Okay, go here for this service, go here for this service, go
Yep.
here for this service. You don't necessarily need every single service. And granted, I don't fit into getting every service, right? How can I put this? You can say I have 1 foot in.
And 1 foot out?
Well,
Isn't that a
look,
song?
yeah,
Yeah.
1 foot in, 1 foot out. But as an advocate, I tell people now, I also sit on the Dale
Right.
Advisory Board.
Yep.
I'm getting ready to sit on the the brain injury of Alliance Vermont Advisory Board
Good.
soon. But I tell people, in terms of media, if no one's going to hire you, create your own job.
There you go. That's a good advice.
Yeah. And that's the way you have to do things, because I went a long time ago. I went down to NBC. I went down to some other networks. No, can't.
Right.
Door closed that. Door closed that. And I knew something else was coming, or I started creating.
Right. Good for you.
Yeah. Because now, granted, we get our own sponsors, but hey, if NBC doesn't call, I'm still here.
Working. And here you are working. So, but you were involved with the Willowbrook State School, right? You did a lot of... Did you do a lot of reporting?
Incorrect. I had friends there. I had friends... Willowbrook has since closed.
Yep,
and
right.
to this day, I still have friends that are there.
Huh.
That were there, rather. Yep. Well, the Willowbrook consent decree. Well, the Willowbrook closed in 1986 by Governor Cuomo.
Yeah.
Now, Willowbrook, one of the things that they did was they turned around and what's the word I'm looking for? Hepatitis came out of that place.
Wonderful.
Not wonderful.
Yeah, no, wonderful, sarcastic. Yep.
Yeah. They started injecting people with the hepatitis.
What were they using them as lab rats? Whoa.
And guinea pigs.
And guinea pigs.
And what they would do in Willowbrook, they would use them as, they would, what's the word I'm looking for? Force feed.
Wow.
So figure, now, you and I, let's say we're with my wife at dinner. You would want a great plate of food in front of you. But the way Willowbrook would do it is they would have 6 or 7 people that someone would be in charge of, and they would force feed one spoon, and use the same spoon.
Oh.
Exactly. Forming hepatitis and other situations that happened out of that. Another thing in Willowbrook that was a problem was the fact that, how can I put this, lack of clothing.
Wonderful.
They would,
sarcastic.
Yeah. They would walk around half naked, no clothes.
God,
and this is where Geraldo Rivera, Governor Carey, Hugh Carey.
Robert Kennedy was in this too, wasn't he? He called it a snake
pit.
Yeah.
But if you remember Hugh Carey, he toured those places with Geraldo, and it was horrific.
Yeah.
You treat veterans better than that.
Right. Well, let's hope so.
I mean, now they're not treating veterans but things have changed.
Yeah.
There is still a certain amount, about 35 states, maybe 34 states that still institutionalize people with disabilities.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. That's really sad. I know that Ann Donahue is my representative, and Ann has worked so very hard on mental health issues, not so much disabilities, but
that's another problem that we need to curb.
Yep.
And there needs to be more services with people with disabilities, so it's not so much of a shortfall. I don't agree a lot. Certain things, yes. Certain things, no. Not every president did an absolute wonderful job. We need another New Deal. Okay? You had Roosevelt who created the, and mind you, here was a man that didn't want to be seen by the media, so they held him up. He didn't want to be seen in a wheelchair.
Oh, because of his, yeah.
Challenges.
Yeah, right.
But he created the March of Dimes. Now, mind you, there are names in terms of disability agencies. There's certain names that we don't use anymore. Obama, back in 2015, took out the word retarded from
Right.
medical jargon.
Yep.
When Roosevelt started the March of Dimes, it was known as the Association for Infantile Paralysis. Okay? Then it was changed to March of Dimes. They don't use the words feeble-minded anymore. They don't use... you're not supposed to use the word crazy. You're not supposed to use the word chronically ill. My mother used to be a nurse. She used to work in a place called Hebrew Hospital Home for the Chronic Sick. You're not supposed to use the word chronic and sick
Right.
in the same. Yeah. So things have changed.
We've
over
come a
the
long
years.
ways. That's good, isn't it? Yes.
We've come a long way, but we still have a lot to go.
I remember I was working in New York about this time, so I knew.
70s?
Yeah, but then out in New Jersey, I was trying to remember the name of the facility that was out there for the disabled from a lot of years ago, and that was our own embarrassment. The stories that came out of that place, I just can't remember it, but same stuff, same terrible stuff.
Yeah.
I like that you and so many people, everybody in this environment are focusing on abilities, not disabilities. They're trying to shine and highlight what abilities you have and put the disabilities.
There's so many
to the side.
advocates.
That's great.
Sterling Peoples you've had on.
Oh, I adore Sterling.
I don't know if you've had Zachary Hughes.
I know Zachary. He and I were on a disability committee in Barry. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there needs to be more done.
Yeah, for sure.
There needs to be lots more.
Do you think it seems to me that there are a lot of places people can go if they know about them. I don't know that we've been really good at getting the word out about what is available. Maybe I'm wrong.
There's wonderful organizations. However, one of the things that I've come across, especially in my work, people are afraid to speak up.
Oh, well, that's true.
They're so afraid. Oh, I'm going to lose my benefits if I say something. Or I'm going to lose this, I'm going to lose that. They're going to take this away from me. No,
Right.
That's not the case.
Right.
The point is, look, if you have a noisy neighbor, say something. If you have something that's wrong, people are not going to yell at you for speaking
Right.
up. There's a saying that, and I bring my mother back to me, because she was a nurse for many years. You can, if you speak with honey,
Right.
you get a lot more, how can I put it? You get a lot more with honey or sugar than
Yeah,
you
right.
can with vinegar or arsenic.
Right.
Um,
There's something about flies in that one. I can't remember, but there is a statement that you make with you catch more flies with honey than you do
with vinegar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's true.
If you're nice to people, they'll be nice to you. Granted, not everybody is going to have a good day. I mean, Mr. Rogers said it best. Now Mr. Rogers went to the Senate and he advocated for his own show. I'm talking about Fred Rogers.
Yeah, right.
Right. I love you just the way you are. Again, almost the same premise with me and other people that I've interviewed, but nobody's gonna get angry at you for speaking your mind.
Right.
There was I didn't know him, but there was a wonderful advocate who was an advocate for LGBT rights, Harvey Milk,
Oh, for sure.
for sure.
In New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, San
he was-
Francisco. Harvey
Oh,
Milk.
you're right. I'm sorry.
So Harvey
was
Milk
killed.
was the supervisory
Right,
union
that's right.
president.
Sorry, you're right.
Right. Many of those advocates got silenced, whether disability or not.
Yeah.
Okay, Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, abolitionists,
Right.
people. We most recently had an assassination.
Right.
God bless his family, Charlie Kirk.
Right.
Okay. Granted, I didn't agree with everything he said,
No.
but you don't go around assassinating people for what they believe in.
Right. Exactly.
And we are living in a time where that's happening and shouldn't. However, people with disabilities, we have struggles, but sometimes you have to kind of push the envelope without getting hurt, mind you.
Right.
But you have to push the envelope. And like I said, nobody's going to get...
No. But you're right. People are afraid because they don't know what's going to happen. And I'm sure they feel very much alone when they're voicing their opinion.
Oh, there's lots of people, and there's now, I'm going to say this. 2.5 years ago, and I will say this, and my wife gives me permission. 2.5 years ago, my wife had a diabetic amputation. I felt, in a sense, things crash.
Sure.
However, one piece of advice I will give: having a circle of support helps.
Oh, for sure.
Speaking to surgeons. I contacted a medical advocacy agency. They actually partner with it's called the Global PAD Association, waytomyheart.org. They partner with Ableton on Air. They taught me how to be a medical advocate. They taught me
Good.
how to speak to surgeons, what to ask for. I'm a journalist, so I always write things down.
That'll make them nervous.
Right.
He's writing it down.
Yeah, carry a pad. You must.
Yeah, right.
You don't know what you're gonna come in contact with. Carry a pad. I don't have it with me today, but I carry a Tascam recorder with me.
Ah.
Now, mind you, as a journalist, you're not allowed to record anybody without permission. But I use it for notes a lot. If I don't have a pad.
You just talk right in.
Yeah. Part A, part B,
Yeah.
it sounds repetitive, but one time I played a joke with my wife. She thought it was another person in the room. When she,
Nice.
when she heard the recording. But you must, now granted, I'm not Einstein, but you must write things down, because if you don't know if you're gonna
Get it right.
yeah.
Yeah. I have to write, and as I'm getting older, I have to write.
You're still young.
I have to write everything down, because if you told me something and I walked out the door, gone. So I have to write things down all the time.
Okay.
And that's okay. Then you get it right.
Yeah. But it's very important to advocate for yourself, because if we don't,
Well, that's true about medical. I've told my husband and other people, you have to speak for yourself, because nobody else is going to do it. You have to really work hard
granted,
at
if you're
this.
having a problem,
Right, speak up.
exactly.
I agree 100%. Yeah, because they'll go on doctor time, and you won't see them as often, perhaps, as you'd like. You won't, right? They'll just do their thing, and you got to speak up.
Yeah.
I don't have any trouble with that.
What's the next question? Go ahead.
All right. So anyway, I do want to talk about the different shows that you want to do, but I was wondering, you're up in the legislature a lot. Do you testify
No,
on things, or do you just?
not, no, no. Actually, no, I am not up in the legislature.
Really?
You thought I was?
I have seen you up there.
Oh, yeah. For several events, I have been.
Okay.
Yeah, not every day am I
Yeah.
up there. They don't pay me as a lobbyist. I wish.
But you've got to watch them up there because you never know what they're going to do.
I have been for advocacy conferences.
Mm-hmm.
I have been for Disability Day stuff. That's coming up again in February.
Yeah.
You know, they're always testifying about medical health stuff.
Right.
So I will be there.
Good.
Coming again in 2026. But we must speak up. I've had Senator Ann Watson on the show.
Good.
I've had, she was Senator Becca Ballant.
Yep.
We've spoken about gun violence.
Yep.
That's another whole topic.
Yeah, right. That's another show.
But yeah,
great.
I'm always around.
That's good.
But it's very important to speak up for yourself.
Yeah. No, for sure. You got that right.
Yeah.
And they do owe you answers when you ask them. So, and if they think you're really paying attention, they'll pay attention too.
Yeah.
You know, and I noticed my mother was in the Berlin rehab, and I noticed that if a family member like yourself comes every day, that patient gets seen a little more than perhaps patients that have nobody visiting. And that's not to say that they give them the service, but not quite the same as when a family member or something is there every day.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister and I made a deal that one of us was going to be there every day, or both of us together, and that worked out really well.
Yeah, because if you, okay, all right, so we'll talk about that. If you're not, and this is another thing, in nursing facilities, okay, my wife's getting services, but
Right.
if you're not there right now, because there 61% of people that are in nursing homes globally, not just United States,
Right. World-
61% don't get visitors.
Oh, wow. That's
They
staggering.
do
How
not,
sad.
I repeat, do not get visitors,
Oh, that's tragic.
right? So I make it a point. I bring my wife food when I can. I bring her something from home. Not, the food isn't great in these places anyway.
Well, right.
They're working on it, but I bring my wife food. I bring her something from home. I bring her a teddy bear. I bring her flowers.
Nice.
Those things
Important.
are important for people. But again, what do they say? From cradle to grave?
Right.
We, as advocates, forgetting journalism for a minute, but I'm a husband. We must care, but there are people that just don't in our world of disability. And we have to make
somebody
a change.
else's problem if you're in the rehab place, right? Somebody else is going to take care of it.
We may, but you have to be on top of things
Yeah,
too.
right. Good advice. Just shout that one. So I read a lot about the Americans with Disability Act. I was in personnel most of my life, and I lived with the ADA, and you were talking about it. There's progress being made, and it's getting better, or perhaps more.
It's getting
encompassing.
better, but
Yeah.
there was a Washington advocate. She's no longer alive. Judy Heumann.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been gone for a while.
Yeah.
And those advocates, Justin Dart was one of the ones that helped sign the Americans with Disabilities Act. But there's a wonderful documentary that's on Netflix As a matter of fact, I interviewed some of the producers and directors that did the film, called Crip Camp, CRIP Camp. Crip Camp is about a group of people with disabilities that back in the 1970s there was a camp called Camp Jennett, and they all went up there by buses. They had fun, but that was during the time from the 70s to the 90s was the time of the resurgence of disabilities, where people were advocating for stuff. Because, there still wasn't curb cuts, there still wasn't adequate stairs.
Right.
So in this documentary, you see somebody walking up, crawling up the stairs of the Capitol building in D.C. To prove a point.
Wow.
So, we must still advocate for our rights. If, like I said, nothing happens overnight. I'm going to give an example. I've had friends that have worked for the Hershey Corporation. Milton Hershey, Hershey.
Right.
When Hershey, Heinz, the McDonald's brothers, and those guys worked their butts off at the time to make their product, they didn't have any sleep. Sometimes, as an advocate, I get sleep, but but we must, in order to make things better, you have to keep pushing.
Right.
That's why I mentioned those guys, because they kept pushing to make things better.
Right. Good for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't have better chocolate until Hershey came along.
That's my big weakness. Oh, hand me a chocolate Hershey bar, and I'm in good shape. All right, so tell me about this article. God wants me to make lemonade.
Yes,
What about that?
Back in 2021,
Yeah.
I was freelancer for it's a newspaper in Israel, that a newspaper like online, and I came up with that title because in life we all have lemons in our life.
Right,
things
for
are
sure.
sour,
Yep.
but to make things sweeter, look, I grew up in a family. I'm talking about my side, not my wife's side,
Yeah.
but in my family, in terms of the article, my dad was an alcoholic. My mother said, "You got two choices. You either can get yourself help or go to jail. What do you want?" Okay? So there's the lemons. Okay? Lemons, lemonade. So in life, we all have lemons and, we all have lemons and lemonade, and we just have to make things better for ourselves. So, and in order to make things better for ourselves, comes the lemonade. Now, granted, not everything is going to be sweet. We have to try to make it as sweet as we can, and that's what that article's about.
Do you talk to groups of the disabled people and try to encourage them?
I do presentations.
Nice.
I go out. Yeah, I've done a lot of that in New York. I'm going to do more of that, and this is what the show is about: to get people to realize that they have many abilities,
and they're not alone, and there's help if they would just ask, right?
And you'd be surprised how many people don't.
I wish I could remember this guy's name. He's in human services, and I had him on my radio show when I was doing that, and he tries to find jobs for people with disabilities, and he looks at their abilities and matches the abilities with the jobs that come to his attention, and he's placed a lot of people in meaningful jobs. Not what do they call those when they're sort of in a factory? We banned them here in Vermont. It's like you're in like a factory situation. I apologize, I don't remember the name. But anyway, we said no more of those because people want a job that's theirs and that they can make it bigger and better and make themselves feel bigger and better. So he did an amazing job. I have a friend who has Maya. She had a brain injury, and she's just amazing, getting a job and working, and it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I did several summers in New York, I was a job coach with many organizations
Great.
teaching TV production. So students would come to me,
Yep.
and I would teach them how to do camera. I would teach them how to script a show. I would teach them how to interview someone.
Great.
You know, and we would do, they would do their own segments, and their segments ended up on air.
Nice.
So it's really important to get, involved and help people and advocate for people as well as employment. One of the people that assist me, if it wasn't for the Division for the Blind, right? Division for the Blind in Vermont, I'm visually impaired, but they help me with technology for the show and stuff like that. I have magnifiers and computers and stuff, right. and I've taught myself how to edit thanks to Orca. But, you know, computers are technology. Computers, you can zoom in, zoom out,
Right.
things like that. When I first started as a journalist, I don't know if you remember Betacam.
Oh yeah, why do I know that? Oh
Big,
yeah, I
the
remember.
big batteries.
Right.
My shoulder was hurt. You know, I was carrying a big camera
Yeah.
and the tripod. I remember I went on a shoot in 1999. I had to go to the United Nations. And here I am with a camera. I had somebody with me, but the battery alone was like 46, 47 pounds.
I remember them. They're huge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm never one not to get my hands dirty.
There you go. Just get in and do it, right?
Baptism by fire.
There you go. I have to read a quote that was said that's something you had said, because I think it's a great quote. The lemonade keeps getting sweeter over time. Here's the recipe. Whatever life throws at you, you use it to make yourself stronger and never give up. Bravo.
That's the point.
That was excellent.
You know, one of my idols. Well, she's no longer alive. Helen Keller.
Oh, right.
Louis Braille.
Wow.
Ray Charles. You know, we must keep going.
Yep.
And Milton Hershey.
Milton Hershey. And thank you for the chocolate. Yeah. So let's, we've got about 20 minutes, and I would love to spend the time talking about all your shows and about what their purpose is and who are the kind of people that you interview on those shows. Abled and On Air is...
Abled and On Air.
It's been here for quite a while. How long have you been doing it?
Since 2015.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. I've interviewed, you know, and Watson.
Right.
I've interviewed back in COVID time.
Yep.
I was doing a lot of shows on Zoom.
Yes.
So I still do some Zoom. I've interviewed the Self-Advocacy Association of New York State.
Right.
I've interviewed the Celiac
Oh,
Disease
Yeah.
Association.
that's something you don't hear much about anymore.
Yeah, and then after I interviewed them, the Celiac Association, that's a stomach problem with gluten and
Right,
everything,
right.
right? So then I was like, well, let me do a TV show about food, and that's how Able to Cook
Ah,
came to be,
right.
right? And back in April, I interviewed a rabbi on Zoom, and we talked about Passover,
Right.
and we talked about unable to cook part. But then, my wife and I are Jewish, so we talked about. I've done shows on religion. Um, Now, in the article about lemonade, there's an organization called Yachad of New York. Uh, they were on Able Done on Air, and we talked about um, the the Torah, and
Yep.
so the Jewish book is called the Siddur. So it's like it's the first 5 books of Moses. So, and the next show you have me on, I'll bring it. Being visually impaired, I have to have some things color coded. So the Bible is color coded for me so I can understand it, and these organizations help me understand it better through color
great.
coding and being visually impaired. And this is why these things exist. But again, many people don't know how to navigate services.
Right, right.
Or they're
Are they here
afraid.
in Vermont or New York, or where are they?
Everywhere.
Everywhere, no kidding. Huh,
Everywhere. I've interviewed people from New Hampshire. I've interviewed people from
right.
Rhode Island. Um, I've gone to Israel. I have
Oh,
family in Israel. Israel and some other countries, they do, I'm being honest, they do a little bit better than the United States.
eh,
They do a little bit better
yeah.
with services than
Oh,
the United States. We need to do a lot better
interesting.
and not give excuses. Oh, this is not my problem. Oh, I can't help you with this. I'm not allowed to do this. You've heard those
Oh,
things.
yes. Yep.
So,
Everybody but me. Right.
no, well, I don't make things. One of the best organizations that I've had on the show, Washington County Mental Health.
Oh,
They
for sure.
help with the show immensely.
Yep.
They're so wonderful.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest organizations.
They are, for sure.
That,
I haven't met the new executive director. I've got to
yeah,
do that because Mary and I
Beth
were very.
Seitler,
Mary
but
and
they're so great.
Yep.
But other countries do a little bit better because they take the time. Not naming names, not naming the agency. But I had an agency tell me, I can't help you past 5 o'clock.
Great.
Exactly. But one of the things I like about Israel is, yes, there are color-coded situations.
Nice.
They have, the train system is immaculate.
Nice.
The train, everything. Example, I was traveling on a bus in Israel, going to one of the malls, okay? And they announced the stop, okay? When I came back from Israel, this was about 2 years ago, before 2 3 years ago, before the pandemic. I was helping advocate one of the regional transportation agencies here.
Oh,
I forget his name. Anyway, when I went back to the advocacy board, and I told them that I was in Israel, and they said, "What made Israel better?" I said, "Well, more buses, okay, more transportation."
Yeah.
But one of the things they announced the stop that you were going to.
Oh, as opposed to letting you guess.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, GMTA,
They announce it.
okay, they announce it, and you can do a request.
Great.
Thing. But why did it take so long?
Right.
You see? So, if other states are doing that or other countries are doing that, why can't Vermont?
Right.
Money.
It doesn't take money to go on a mic and say, Vine Street.
I'll announce the
Yeah, but
stuff for free.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, that's not money.
Yeah, exactly. But
That's just not
there are
thinking.
certain things that are shortfalls. Vermont's a wonderful state.
Yep.
But we're kind of, I'm saying this, freedom of speech. Vermont is a little lazy.
Really, this is all that's being talked about on the TV these days is freedom of speech.
Vermont
What?
is a little, we need to do, what I mean by lazy is that we need to do, I shouldn't say lazy, but we need to do a lot better when it comes to caring for people with
then
disabilities.
speaking up.
Exactly.
Okay, I understand.
And so, I can't help you, I can't do this, that kind of thing.
It's like when you see something, say something. If something's going wrong, you should speak up. Right there, you go. Interesting. All right. So, able to cook? Do you? When you were talking about Passover, are you actually cooking? Like, is there
Right
do
now,
you
it's more like demonstrations on how things work.
Oh,
Okay, but I will be starting to cook recipes and do
great.
different things.
Is that in your house? Because what's his name from a CCTV over in Barry? He has a full kitchen who I adore.
Well, for the Magic of Tea, well, I've been working and partnering with the Brain Injury Alliance of Vermont. So they're more like webinars for now.
Oh, okay,
and
great.
I turned them into shows. But I also do history about food. And
Oh,
how food came to be. Like I'll be doing things about Milton Hershey. I'll be doing, without those guys, without those people, you wouldn't have what you have today.
Right.
So it's historical things about food
That's
as
great.
well as webinars on how things work or how grills work. One of my first Able to Cook shows back in 2018, I interviewed somebody from Washington County who was catering and doing cookies and all kinds
nice.
of stuff. So we went through the recipes and how things, and I interviewed her and her independence in the kitchen. And
nice.
her name's Mindy Sprague. But, and she was barbecuing. And here's a person that was afraid of the kitchen.
Really?
Now, I took culinary courses at Culinary Institute of America one summer back in 2014, 2015, before I came here. I learned how to cook, but in a sense, I got lost in the shuffle, okay? It got a little too difficult, and then I was thinking in my mind, okay, maybe one day I'll create a cooking show, and this is what Able to
Nice.
Cook is. So it's going to morph into more cooking
That's great.
and explanation.
Good for you.
And also now, we do a sports show. We've done things on Jim Abbott, who's a New York Yankee.
And this is called
Gridiron Sports Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I've talked about special needs sports, including Special
Nice.
Olympics. Again, all of these things all of these shows focus on abilities, not disabilities.
That's great.
And I've done topics on, you know, amputees and how legs work and how things work. It's amazing how technology has changed for
Sure.
people with disabilities.
Right.
Israel came up with the first pacemaker, so on and so forth. But globally, we've done good things. We
Yep.
just need to do a
Better.
little bit better.
Yep. I like that. And this last one we were talking about before, talk behind the lens. So what is that, your thoughts on something? Or?
It's basically, I'm gonna be doing my documentary on my own, based on my life and my life being a
Nice.
journalist. But it's documentaries about people with disabilities, you know, and other things around that. You know, for example, and there are a lot of old films dealing with disabilities. Like you have, I don't know if you know this, but The Man in the Iron Mask, okay, and other, what is it? Hunchback for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Hunchback Notre Dame. So those old films are now, there's a lot of old films that are in public domain that I'm going to do commentaries about and
Oh.
show clips of,
Nice.
you know.
Because
So-
they're certainly dealing with disabilities, the Hunchback is, and
Yeah.
good.
But and where we've come, going from the past to where we've come to past, present, future kind of thing.
Nice. Did you ever see the truck in Montpelier? It's called the Mitzvah Fund.
Yes.
Isn't that the best? Just so you know, it's a van that's set up to do surgery and to take care of dogs if people don't have
Dogs and cats. And,
and I had the best time. I did a show on it. I kept seeing this thing and what the heck's I knew what mitzvah mean, but there was a mitzvah fund, and they set it up, and they have there's a lot of people that can't help their dogs when they're sick because they don't have the money.
well, this is the thing. It all comes down to money.
Exactly.
So when services shut down,
Right.
we need to come up with, okay, how can we raise the money to make things happen
Yep.
again?
You're right. I
don't mean to say we're lazy. We just need to do better.
Every time my daughter said, "Oh, you know what happened in work?" Blah blah blah. I said, "Stacy, why did that happen?" I said, "Follow the money," and she'll go back and look, and she'll call me and go, "Aha, it was about money. Most things are.
Mm-hmm.
You try to find the reason, and it's usually the green stuff. It's all about the money." Well,
I don't know if there's ever been a president that hasn't cut services for people with disabilities.
oh, really, Larry? I'm surprised that I don't know. Where were you in this? I was working with Ed Paquin.
Yeah.
When it was the pills to allow you to assisted suicide, and I was the disability community was very much against it, and I was.
I'm against that
Yeah,
because
and
here's the thing, and we can talk
we
about it
got-
for the next 4 minutes, but I forget the act number,
Yeah, I don't know.
but in Jewish faith we do not believe in that. Okay, assisted suicide.
Yeah.
Unless if it's like cancer or something really bad,
Yeah.
MS.
And you're in a lot of pain and blah blah.
Hey, but if Oscar Schindler can save,
Right.
the Talmud says, which is part of the Torah, he who saves one life saves the world entire. Okay, that was part of the movie too.
Yep.
But we don't believe we believe in saving a life.
Right. Well, I was raised Catholic, and that's their belief too.
Yeah. But the show, well,
But
it's helping people save their own life. Let's put it that way.
There was
As
so
far
many
as-
disabled people came up and said, please don't do this. They were worried that they were going to be talked into it by their family to save money. And it was
Save
just,
money on funerals.
well, just, yeah, to save money and end their life. And the testimony was so heart-wrenching, it was ridiculous. And I did my own testimony against it, but they passed it anyway. I said, how can you not listen to the disabled community? Because we really do a lot. And this one other thing they're begging you to not do, you do. What is that? It's very strange
To
sometimes.
save money.
Yeah, right. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next for Larry Seiler? Anything we
Lawrence
should know
Seiler's
about?
going to keep going.
Keep going.
Keep
trucking.
creating more shows.
Good. And you do it all here in Orca?
Yep, and we do it outside too because we bring a camera out.
Ah, that's what I'd like to do. I need to learn how to run the camera to go to
And
to these
everybody
places.
with a challenge should learn how to edit too.
All right, you're
Becau-
on.
Because it's not
Yeah,
it's not that difficult.
it isn't, huh?
Yep.
Because sometimes they ask me, I need 2 minutes cut off. What is 2 minutes? Where can you find something?
Well, here's the thing. When I did news, let me have a
Yeah,
minute.
we're okay.
When I did news, they call it a package, okay, a news package that goes into the news show. It's supposed to be like 2 minutes or 3 minutes,
Yeah,
but I don't like cutting off a social worker. I don't like
Right.
cutting off a
just
doctor.
keep talking.
I don't like you. You get my point?
Yeah, I do
So
the same thing.
it's just very important not to do that. So this is why shows were created. So we won't be cutting anybody off.
Yep, nope, that's a good thing. But we're going to cut you off now because it's time. Larry, thank you very much. I'm glad we finally got around to this. Very interesting, very impressive. Thank you for all you do for the disabled community. And thank you for watching. As Larry said, speak up, see something, say something.
See you next time.
See you. This is Pat McDonald, your host for Vote for Vermont, where our tagline is listening beyond the sound bites. See you next week.